Has this ever happened to you? You're sitting there trying to play some good old StarCraft, and all of a sudden you're hit with right as some Zerglings rush into your base. Supply deficiency is the leading cause of lost MMR in 99% of players, but you don't have to suffer alone. I'm SpiralBiscuit, and I'm actually, you know what? And I'm here to talk about what every real-time strategy genius wants. Resources. Resources in StarCraft, or any RTS game, are your bread and butter. I mean, you want to buy a guy with a gun? Well, it turns out he's demanding a living wage of 50 minerals. Oh, now he wants a shield to not die to space lasers? Gotta get some overpriced non-Costco unleaded premium investment gas. It's joever. He needs working benefits like food and supply and Obamacare for his wife and kids on Korhol. Oh, we're Barack, baby. Supply Barack, that is. God damn it. While these are the explicit resources that the game requires you to use, I'm here to impart some mystic esoteric knowledge of hidden resources in RTS games. You know what they say, time is money, friend. But in reality, time is just the ever-flowing river that carries us all along, eventually leading to our inevitable death, where any and all impact we have on the world, though, will be long forgotten. So let's just consider time as a resource. When you buy something like combat shields, you'll see it costs minerals and gas, but the time listed is also a resource you'll have to spend. In these 79 seconds, you'll have essentially thrown away 100 minerals and gas until the upgrade finishes. No amount of minerals and gas is going to buy those 79 seconds. Even if you have 12 stalkers blinking up on. If you guys ever remember doing the train track method of converting between units, it's the same thing here to figure out how many resources you can get per unit of time. If you have resources per minute for your income and you multiply the amount of time that passes, you can get resources and a short train with a guy surfing on it on the bottom of your screen, I guess. But if you had a huge train of Zerglings trying to get to your base like it's the Shinkansen, they might actually realize they're the Deutschbahn because they're circa 30 Minuten später to your target's base. Why? Well, they're on a super huge map. If you have to travel more distance as the Zerglings, even if you're super duper fast, you're not going to get to their base as fast as you'd like. So if units take a long time to get to your base, you're going to have more time as a resource within your builds. And then maybe finally you have combat shields ready when those stalkers come into your base. The number of units itself can be a kind of resource that you have to manage properly as well. If you could take your huge army and condense it into one huge unit, it would actually kind of suck because then your opponent can spread their units out and hit in multiple places at once. But you don't want to only have small units spread everywhere because then they won't have enough impacts and they'll block each other in big engagements. But the more units you have in an army, the more finely you can distribute its power across the map. So Protoss as a race has a theme of big, expensive, yet powerful units, so they'll generally have a smaller total unit count. And Zerg as a race is known to have millions of swarmy little bug dudes just chomping at your feet. And Terran, they have walls. So to compensate, Zerg gets creep to help their small dudes scurry in different bases to defend without tripping over themselves. And Protoss gets recall to allow smaller amounts of units to defend more places at once. Terran, they get walls. It's important to allocate your units properly, especially when defending. If you F2 your entire army to defend a small drop, you might be susceptible to a larger frontal assault while you're not looking. Vision is important because it gives you information which helps you understand what's going on the map. God dang, if it's so important, how the heck do I get more of it? And you hold your horses right there, partner, because you already know it's units. Units are the most obvious way to get more vision, because in all games, wherever you have units, you'll also have vision. You'll see pros leave Zerglings, Marines, or Zealots littered all across the map in order to hold a perimeter of vision. But what happens if the other person does so as well? Alright, step right up for our next wonderful launch. We have here the Xel'Naga Watchtower of Newkirk City. This tower comes with central map vision, covering every major attack path. Starting bid is 1 Marine. Do we have 1 Marine? We do! Can I get 2 Marines? 2 Marines to the man in the back. Can I have 3? 3, 4, 5. 5 to the other man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bidding war on our hands. Can I get 7 Marines? 8 Marines and a medevac. Wow, an entire bio army always moving out. Oh, and they respond, ladies and gentlemen, here comes the engagement, and sold. If you don't want to auction off your entire army, you can buy the Costco 28 bulk packs of vision using buildings through sensor towers, observers, and creep. But let's say you don't even want to put buildings out there in the world. You don't want to get vision the normal way. You want to get some of the hard shit, the pure crystal clear vision. Okay, some crazy vision. I got the good shit here. This scan, it's only 50 energy. It's basically free. I mean, why not get it? You have plenty of energy, right? Just look at your orbitals. Not so fast, sir. That 50 energy could be used on a mule, which can mine 200 minerals. This means that every scan that you use is 200 minerals that you're not mining. If you want free vision, go over to that guy. Xel'Naga watchtowers give you tons of vision, even if you only have a singular unit on them. These are much more carefully in map design though, because having only one dude cover the whole map in vision seems pretty busted and ensures that that spot will be hotly contested. If your race has a lot of small, fast, and cheap units, then you can have a lot of uptime on Xel'Naga watchtowers. Any player with an early game advantage can just get rid of any counterplay from their opponents by taking so much map control with such little risk. This is because if the other player tries to attack you, you'll have plenty of warning and time to spend on preparing for the attack, and you'll see it coming. Or in other words, you'll be able to dedicate your tiny TikTok attention span to whatever you need. If there's one saying in life that holds true, no matter how good you think you are at something, there's always some cracked ass Asian kid 100 times better than you at it. This holds true for other Asian kids as well. I am not that Asian kid, okay? It should have been me, not him! It's not fair! The most impressive of these guys usually show an insane display of attention and APM, being able to dart their screen across with ease and seemingly execute everything with insane amounts of precision. But believe it or not, this is a resource, and it's not infinite. The closest thing we have to quantifying something as mystical as attention is APM, or actions per minute. If you can simply control more things and give more commands, you're likely to just be a faster player and have more attention to give across different parts of the map to different units. Some of the most frustrating units force you to spend loads of attention trying to get rid of them, while your opponents may need only spend less than a second. For instance, shift queuing some Zerglings into your opponent's mineral line only takes a few clicks, but has the potential to annihilate all the workers and buildings within. So how does this get prevented? Well, one way is static defense. Static defense was not always popular in the past, because although unit mobility was somewhat similar to today's game, maps were much smaller, and less bases per game were taken on average. So most of the time, you could just run home and defend any attacks that were thrown your way. But as Legacy of the Void came and it became necessary to spread your forces across even more territory, static defense became popularized as a way to invest your APM. Stocks. If you spend 3 actions to queue Zerglings, and your opponent spent 3 actions to make a planetary fortress 2 minutes before, that APM investment could save a base. You can also buy time for your army to come back if this is a bigger attack. So what's the difference between attention and APM? Well, the difference is how much information you could fit on your screen at once. That screen is precious real estate, and it's a resource in itself. If you can move your screen to more places across the map faster, and then execute your commands with faster APM, then you can be at multiple places at once issuing tons of commands. Where your camera is determines your attention, and your APM determines the amount of attention required to do whatever task you're looking at. That's why you always see professional POVs jittering their camera everywhere, even in other games. But if you force them to spend actions on a certain part of the map that they don't want, you're pulling that precious attention and using their resources. If you take a game-deciding engagement at the same time you send a Nidus Worm, often your opponent will have no choice but to sacrifice their entire base to focus on the large army engage. This is why having static defense is paramount to expanding quickly. When you expand across the map, this means your camera has to be in more locations at the same time in order to control the map. If you only have 1 or 2 bases across 1 or 2 screens to look at, you can more easily manage defending it. But it's once you become spread out across 5, 6, or 7 bases, your screen cannot possibly manage to fit all of your territory at the same time. So if you can't see all of your bases, someone just might stab you in the fucking back and kill your workers when you're not looking. Now, many of these resources have some form of relationship with each other. Most of these resources aren't obtained independently, but you actually use one resource to obtain more of another resource. If you have more APM, you can get more minerals easier by having a cleaner build. This will let you get more army units while spending less time, which will allow you to get more vision. Getting more vision allows you to get more information, which lets you form a counter. You can formulate a counter because you have the mental clarity and energy to think. This lets you invest your resources more effectively and be more prepared for your opponent. By being prepared, you can pre-invest your resources into a counter, which lets you then give more attention to make more units, get more information, to see more of the match. This gives you more time to information, this lets you invest your resources. This gives you more time to counter, This is why the universal advice to improve at StarCraft is to just get better mechanics, bro. Which I really see as your capacity for attention and APM. But doing this for hours at a time is tiring as hell. So some players are notorious for draining their opponents of energy from their playstyle. By putting your opponent through an endurance test, they'll be more prone to make mistakes as it takes actual IRL energy to think and maintain a high APM, so the resources have a high ROI in Q1 of the WCS EU SE2 Challenger Qualifier Season 1, Group G, Set 2, Game 2. So if you're ever at a tournament, it's important to take care of your physical health to last you all the way through the end, especially if it's a weekend tournament. You'll see even in less physical games like chess that top players will still do tons of physical training in order to keep up with the hours of stress. So making sure you're constantly well hydrated, well fed, and well rested is the key to being able to perform at your peak skill when it counts. If you want to win an Olympic esports event, make sure to be caught on camera eating your fruits and veggies, kids, I guess. Either way, you know you're a true gamer when you start calling everything in the world a resource that you could min or max. So what other cool resources exist in your favorite games? Let me know in the comments below so I can get some sweet YouTube algorithm points, and write me an essay on why tension is the best meter, and if you disagree, then that is bullshit. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you next time, whenever that is.